Hello, I'm Rachel Jones for Calcai Media. Welcome to another edition of Executive Corner Expert Talks. Today I'm speaking with Scott Macmillan. He's Managing Director of Invictus Energy. Now, Invictus is an independent upstream oil and gas company focused on sub-Saharan Africa. Its asset portfolio consists of a highly prospective license in the Cabora Bassa Basin in Zimbabwe. Here to tell us more is Scott. Welcome, Scott.
Hi, Rachel, and thank you for having me.
Great to speak with you today. So everyone's awaiting Invictus's upcoming drilling program from the world-class Mukuyu prospect, which was previously called the Muzazarabani prospect. How is the plan progressing?
Look, it's progressing really well. We completed our seismic campaign last year, and the basis of that was to refine the drilling location for the Mukuyu prospect, previously called the Muzarabani prospect, but also to identify some additional prospectivity within our license area. We've secured a rig, the Exalo's number 202, that's currently drilling in Tanzania and will be coming to us and mobilizing next month in May to prepare for that drilling campaign. That will be 2 wells, so Mukuyu, and another basin margin well that we'll announce once that work is complete. And the long leads are all on the boats. Everything's heading heading towards the well site now, and our team's gearing up. We've selected the surface location for Mukuyu 1, and that well pad construction has commenced. And we're preparing for the actual execution of the program now. So a very exciting period ahead for the company.
It certainly is very exciting. Now, a very positive and encouraging Amplitude anomaly association for the Mukuyu prospect has emerged from the 2021 Cabora Basin 2D seismic survey data and the process vintage data. Can you tell us more about this and what repercussions it will have in the upcoming drilling program?
Yeah, so until we shot the Cabora Bassa 2021 survey last year, we've been working off the vintage mobile data that we'd inherited from their previous exploration campaign. And that 2D data set was acquired in 1990. A fantastic data set back then, and we were very lucky to inherit it and be able to identify this material Mukuyu prospect off the back of that. The spacing of that was quite wide, though. It was around 15 to 20 kilometers line spacing. With the Cabora Bassa 21 survey, we infilled that to around about 1.7 kilometer line spacing, and as I mentioned, that was to refine our drilling location for Mukuyu 1, but also to identify some additional prospectivity. One of the leads that we identified off the previous mobile survey was lead A in the shallow section. That now with the Cabora Bassa survey has been matured quite substantially, and we've identified this new material target relatively shallow at around 900 meters below the surface. And that we've identified now on these multiple lines that covers the 2021 Cabora Bassa survey. It also demonstrates the strong amplitude responses and conformance to structure, which in oil and gas terminology with these amplitudes, they often indicate a change in either the rock type and or the fluid type. And what we're seeing from these responses is it looks like it's a fluid change indicator. So, and with the flat spots and the conformance to structure and switching off at the same depths across the broader structure, it looks like it's a hydrocarbon contact or interface between different fluids. So, what this will mean for us is we've got an additional material target within Mukuyu, in addition to the 8.2 trillion cubic feet and 247 million barrels of condensate that we identified previously from the mobile survey. But it also allows us to have potentially some really early and material success in the first up target out of this Mukuyu 1 that we're drilling. And then we've got another 3 or 4 major targets beneath that to drill as well. So really just adding to our existing world-class inventory, and could see us have some material early success in our drilling program, which is always great.
Absolutely, and as you mentioned there, Invictus already has a world-class prospective resource base, and the potential of its acreage is really incredible. Recently, SG 4571 acreage area was increased sevenfold. I mean, as you mentioned, that's magnificent. So do you have plans to further quantify the potential of your license area?
So yes, we do. It's very pleasing to have increased our acreage footprint by sevenfold. We concluded that deal with the Zimbabwe government and the Sovereign Wealth Fund a couple of weeks ago, and we're waiting for that just procedural gazettal of the license area. So we did approach the government last year when we were shooting our seismic campaign, and we have already acquired data in part of that expanded area. So that is being worked up and interpreted at the moment. So there is more to come, in addition to the Mukuyu and the Masasa prospects, which are previously quantified in our original license area. So again, our portfolio of prospects and leads is going to grow substantially from where it sits today, and we've already done the work to identify where the I guess where we feel is the sweet spot in the basin and the material targets, and we've got data over that already. So that'll be incorporated, and we'll pick one of those new targets to be the second well in our drilling campaign.
And moving on now that the proposed petroleum product sharing agreement has undergone independent review, when is it expected to be finalised, and what benefits will it reap for Invictus?
So with the petroleum production sharing agreement, that will put in place a stable and transparent legal and fiscal framework to govern this project if we're successful through the production phase for potentially 25 to 40 years. So it's been very important to have this independently verified and looked at from expert sources beyond government, so that they feel comfortable, beg your pardon, with the agreement and signing it, because it is going to be a long-term relationship with government. So the timetable for that is we're currently finalising a few bits and pieces of that agreement, including the back-end right for the Sovereign Wealth Fund, which will give the country a direct equity stake in the project. But the production sharing aspect of it will also provide the country with the benefits of sharing in any success over and above that direct equity benefit, and bring Zimbabwe as a country up to the regional standards of what host governments typically reap from oil and gas developments. So that's important for us to have it in place, so that we've got a long-term stable fiscal framework, but also to ensure that the country also reaps its fair share from any discovered resources.
And just finally, Scott, how does the Cabora Bassa project have national significance for Zimbabwe?
So, look, if we're successful, it's going to be significant not only from a national status for Zimbabwe, but also from a regional energy perspective. I think that the energy challenges in Southern Africa are well documented and articulated. We've got brownouts and blackouts in Zimbabwe and South Africa, the two sort of major energy demand centers in the region. And it's off the back of a growing industrial demand and also increasing populations, and the supply hasn't kept up with those demands. And so now there are these shortages of energy and electricity. And so gas to power, will become a key pillar in the energy supply dynamics in the region. There's an interconnected power grid, which allows you to produce and distribute electricity from Cape Town all the way through to the Congo. So that will have a huge impact in the electricity availability, and importantly, the affordable and reliable electricity sources that are needed for growing economies. And it's being hamstrung at the moment by the lack of energy. And so, if we have some success, we're going to go a long way into easing some of that, but it's not going to fully satiate the demand. Unfortunately, we're going to need multiple successes of our type of scale, to really solve the energy crisis. But having said that, it is a rich market, premium pricing, So we're well placed in the event of success of being able to assist, but also, provide a very, very attractive return for our investors as well in monetizing any discoveries.
Absolutely. Well, best of luck for the future there, Scott. And thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me, Rachel.
That's Scott Macmillan, Managing Director of Invictus Energy. And if you missed any part of that chat, you can catch the full interview on our YouTube channel, Calcine Media, so make sure to subscribe. I'm Rachel, reminding you to stay apprised and invest wise with Calcine.